Hey, it's Drew Bentley here with Learn Guitar with Drew. Today we're going to take a look at how to be your own looper, your own loop station, your own backing track. We're going to take a look at 4 separate maybe types of jams to play on and teach you how to do this if you can't do this already. So in this room I've got like 6 loopers currently in 2020. I've got a looper in the Axe Effects, there's a looper in the HX Effects by Line 6, there's a looper in the Loop Man by Jam Station, by Digitech Jam Man. I've got a looper in the Eventide Time Factor, a looper in the Trio Plus by Digitech, and there's a Pictronics Infinity 2 looper, which I really like. So there's 6 loopers in the room. When I was growing up, we didn't have this luxury. If you wanted to do looping, you had to get a cassette tape and like record yourself for like 6 minutes and then play back to it. And invariably you had to stop and rewind, and it's such a pain in the butt. This is better, but when I was growing up, we didn't have it. So what I did was I used to go to this music store and hang out with this kid named Jeff. He was working there. And he would play for like 6 or 8 hours a day, and I literally would sit there and watch him for 6 hours straight. And I go home and try to take anything I could from what he did and try to incorporate it into my own thing. And what I learned early on was that making things up from scratch is really fun. And to do that, you have to kind of keep a rhythm going while you're playing some solos, and you sort of become your own looper in a way. So that's what we're going to do. But first, thanks so much for checking out the video. My name is Drew Bentley. The channel is Learn Guitar with Drew. Please click that subscribe button and the bell for notifications. In the comment section down below, you'll find links for my websites and other guitar resources. And of course, I do teach private lessons. There's all that information down below. Okay, so how do we do this? How do we become our own looper? Not that loopers are bad. I use them all the time, but if you want to just kind of be your own looper. So the first jam we're going to take a look at is a power chord. A power chord, a C power chord, D power chord. Kind of like a Deep Purple kind of feel to it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play this rhythm for 4 measures, and then I'm going to superimpose a solo from the A minor pentatonic scale, which is going to match up with it really well. So I'm creating a rhythm, but I'm also finding a melodic concept that matches up with it that I can solo with. So it's kind of like call and response, back and forth, the rhythm and then the solo. This time I'm going to do 2 measures of the rhythm and then 2 measures of the solo. Let's try 1 measure of each. Okay, so now I'm kind of breaking it up a little bit. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2. So a lot of songs have been written this way too, and so it's really cool because you're accompanying yourself. It's called comping. So if you play as a power trio, let's say you're like there's bass players, a drum, and then just you. This is great because you can fill in the gaps where you're not playing solos, and it's really important to learn how to do that. In music school, they teach you how to do this with jazz comping, how to play comping behind jazz chords. All the jazz stuff is all about doing that. Now, if you can comp as a jazz trio too, like you're comping when you're not playing solos, or if you're playing in a quartet, you're comping when somebody else is playing a solo, but you don't want to just like barrel through a really thick rhythm. I'm going to put little complementary parts in to sort of call and response with a rhythm from what they're doing melodically. It's really cool. This will train you to do that as well. I guess it looks, in that sense, this is also a training for that too. So that's the first jam. Kind of has like a Black Sabbath-y kind of feel to it. Let's try another one. Let's do E7 sharp 9. Known affectionately throughout the guitar world as the Hendrix chord. 2 A7, 1 D6, 3 G7, 4 B8. We're going to keep a rhythm of that and do the same kind of thing. This time, let's use the E minor pentatonic scale instead. It's the 3rd position, and we're going to add this blue note in. Let's tritone to make it a blues scale. So that's a cool sound. So let's try the rhythm, same thing. I'll do 4, 4, 2 and 2, 1 and 1. Let's try 2. Let's try 1. So now you can see, get a really cool jam going on with that as well. It's like your own rhythm section, basically. Now, what if I took that same solo, but I went up high? Use the pentatonic scale in the first position up there. Same kind of thing. Let's slow it down a little bit so we can get up there. Maybe try something like this. So I'm going like rhythm, solo, rhythm, solo, but I'm keeping in the back of my mind it's always going in the back of my mind so I don't lose the beat. Like, it's really important to keep the beat. If you can practice this with the metronome, that's all the better. It really is. Like, lock into the metronome, it'll help you get a really solid sense of rhythm. And then you don't have to worry about deviating too much when you're not using the metronome. If you practice with it all the time, it becomes ingrained inside of you, and you sort of like hear the click when you're sleeping, you know. Helps you do this better. Now, when I first turned, like the video began, I was doing a jam, blues jam, over like an A7 chord, like a standard chugging rhythm. So I can do a call and response with that too, but I was playing more of a Chuck Berry sort of thing. Playing out of the chord a little more. There's an A7 chord and playing out of that. So if I do the same thing. You can see how that would really be cool if you had just a bass player and a drummer and you did that. You don't have to have a rhythm track. Now, sometimes a rhythm track is great. In fact, I'm going to make a video here soon about how to be a secondary guitar player with another guitar player playing, which is another cool thing to do. And also, there's recording albums when you have a song that's based for being a trio. You can still add supplemental rhythm parts into your trio recording to give it some flavor. And you could also record your guitar parts to have intentionally have a rhythm part and a solo part. So there's lots of different variations and options. This is just a way to teach you how to keep a rhythm going and keep a solo going at the same time, and do a call and response sort of thing with the rhythm and the soloing. So any rhythm you can come up with, any sort of chord progression, doesn't matter what the tempo is or any of that stuff. Find a melodic component that works with it. Like, for example, A minor would be A minor pentatonic scale, the really obvious one. E7, kind of playing like an E blues kind of thing. Find your melodic concept that goes along with the chords you're doing, and then you can create a jam. Try what I was doing, do 4 measures of the chords and 4 measures of the solo, maybe 2 measures of the chord and 2 measures of solo, 1 measure of chord, 1 measure of solo, and then try to mix and match where it's not really like, where it's not really planned. You play some solos for a little bit, play some chords a little bit, solos for a little bit, chorus a little bit. There's no real plan to it. You're just sort of like hearing at that point. And then you can create musical phrases where your rhythm actually is call and response to your lead playing, which is a really neat place to be. And start listening for that too. When you listen to songs, you'll hear it all the time with players doing that. Okay, thank you so much for checking out this lesson. I really appreciate you being here. Hit that subscribe button if you like. And I can't wait to see you at the next lesson.